When my first Social Security check arrived, I remember holding it and thinking, all right, this is it, let's make it work. I wasn't panicked, just cautious. Groceries seem to jump in price every time we blink. Electricity, gas, prescriptions. They all quietly creep up, and yet our income? It stays the same. That's why more and more of us are asking the same question. We'll look at things like how to track what you're really spending, why your grocery bill might be higher than it needs to be, and how a simple senior discount could shave real dollars off your bills. And it's all done with one goal in mind: helping you feel more secure, more confident, and more in control of your finances. In fact, you're doing something incredibly smart just by being here, learning how to make every dollar count without giving up the life you love. When you're living on a fixed income, every dollar you spend has to have a purpose. But trust me, it's not about being a bookkeeper. It's about giving yourself a clearer picture of your habits. When you can see what you're spending, you can spot the leaks and start plugging them. But here's the honest truth: most of us don't really know where all our money goes. I didn't either. I thought I was being careful until I started paying closer attention. And that's the first real game changer: tracking your spending. Let's start with something simple but powerful: understanding where your money actually goes. Just notice, write it down, be curious, not critical, because once you know where your money's going, you can tell it where to go next. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to look. How do you stretch every dollar without stretching yourself thin? And no, I'm not talking about cutting out every little treat or living off ramen noodles. It's a common budgeting method. 50% of your income goes to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings or debt. But if you're living on Social Security alone, that might need some adjusting. Let's make it retiree friendly. I'm talking about using a simple structure that helps you stretch what you have, while still living with dignity and peace of mind. She says seeing it laid out that way helps her feel in charge. When you see how your income supports your real priorities, you stop feeling like you're falling behind. You start realizing you're the one driving the bus. And get this, she even built up enough in her green jar to take her sister to lunch every month without touching her savings. We're a community here, and every bit of experience or advice you share can help someone else. You see, I'd worked my whole life, saved what I could, and even downsized when the time felt right. Maybe you use part of the flexible spending to chip away at a small credit card bill, or if you've already paid off your debt, maybe $50 of that becomes a little savings fund for emergencies or even a weekend away. It's yours. The plan should work for you, not the other way around. By the end of that week, I had spent nearly $30 on snacks alone. You might set $900 for your essentials, things like rent or mortgage, groceries, utilities, and transportation. Then maybe $300 for health-related costs, prescriptions, medical visits, even over-the-counter items. That leaves $300 for flexible spending. This is your life money, maybe lunch with a friend, a craft project, or a birthday gift for your grandchild. Maybe you realize you're paying for 2 TV services but only watching one. But you don't have to cut it out, you just have to manage it with intention. Knowing how much is available helps you enjoy those moments without guilt or worry. It's not about saying no to everything, it's about knowing when to say yes. Or you're still getting a magazine in the mail you don't even read. Those are easy wins. The key is to start small. Just try tracking for 1 week and I promise, patterns will show up. It's like turning on a light in a dim room. You see things you didn't realize were there. That was a surprise. I wasn't mad about it. It just opened my eyes because suddenly I could choose. Did I really want to spend that money there? But suddenly there was no paycheck coming in next week. These aren't complicated financial tricks or schemes you have to sign up for. Just real-world solutions that make a difference, especially when your budget is tight and every dollar matters. Just that one fixed amount each month, and if you've been there too, or you're staring at that check, wondering how far they'll go, you're in the right place. Living on Social Security alone isn't easy these days. Now, let me be clear, this isn't about sacrifice. I'm not here to tell you to eat canned soup every night or unplug your fridge to save on the light bill. That's not living. No, we're going to talk about smart, simple budget hacks that help your money go further while still enjoying the life you've earned. In this video, I'll walk you through 6 practical tools, things you can start doing right away. Whether it's lowering monthly costs, cutting waste, or even safely boosting your income a bit. There's something here for you. And if that sounds helpful to you, I'd be so grateful if you click that like button. Subscribe to our channel, Vibrant Elders, and share your thoughts down in the comments. So take a deep breath. You're not alone. You're not failing. Why smart budgeting starts with tracking. Now I know writing down every little expense doesn't sound fun. Let me share what I did. I grabbed an old notebook and wrote down every expense for just 1 week. I'm talking everything: $250 for coffee, $1,399 for that TV subscription. Even the $5 I spent at the dollar store. You can do this any way you like. Some folks prefer pen and paper. Others use simple tools like a spreadsheet or a free app like Mint or Good Budget. Now, this isn't just my advice. Research backs it up. A study from the University of Cambridge found that people who track their spending, even casually, are more likely to stay within their budget and feel in control financially. And here's the best part. This isn't about cutting out everything. It's about making informed choices. So if you're feeling unsure about where to start with budgeting, start here. Now that we've got our eyes on the flow of money, let us talk about how to organize it in a way that truly supports your needs without making life feel restricted. Number 1, prioritize essentials with the 50-30-20 rule. Once you've got a clearer view of where your money is going, the next step is figuring out how to divide it wisely. Now, you might have heard of the 50-30-20 rule. For example, let's say your monthly Social Security check is $1,500. Here's how you could look at it. Now, that flexible part, that's where a lot of people get nervous. And if you're wondering where to put things like debt or savings in this model, you can adjust. Let me tell you about my neighbor Dorothy. She's 76 and sharp as a tack. Every month, she writes out her budget using 3 colored pens: red for essentials, blue for health, and green for fun. That's the kind of control we're after here. Not rigid, not scary, just steady. And speaking of making the most of what we've got, let's look at some clever ways to save on the things we're already paying for. Number 2, lower living costs with senior discounts and utility savers. Once you've figured out your basic structure, the real magic starts when you look for ways to lower the bills in each category without sacrificing the things that matter. And let me tell you, one of the best kept secrets out there is how many discounts and savings are available just because you've earned the title of senior. Let's start with everyday stuff. Did you know that many grocery stores offer senior discount days? I didn't either. Until my neighbor Janice mentioned she saves about $15 every Thursday morning just by showing her ID at checkout. That's $60 a month, enough for a good meal out or an extra prescription refill. Pharmacies, hardware stores, even craft shops, many of them offer 5%, 10%, sometimes more off if you just ask. And don't be shy about it. It's not about asking for a handout. It's about using the benefits that are already there for you. You spent decades working, raising families, building communities. These discounts are a quiet way of saying thank you, but let's not stop at shopping. Let's talk about where you really feel the squeeze: your utility bills. One of the easiest ways to save is to make your home a little more energy efficient. You don't have to tear out the walls or buy solar panels. Small changes go a long way. Start with your thermostat, if you can stand it. Lowering it by just 2 degrees in winter or raising it slightly in summer can trim your heating and cooling costs by up to 10%. And if you add a programmable thermostat, it'll adjust automatically when you're asleep or out of the house. Then there's lighting. Swapping out those old bulbs for LEDs might seem like a small thing, but they use about 75% less energy and they last years longer. I helped my cousin Mary switch hers out last fall. Her electric bill dropped by $18 that month alone, and the bulbs were on sale too. Some utility companies even offer senior-specific programs or weatherization assistance. These might include free home energy audits, discounted rates, or help installing insulation. Call your local provider and ask. It's a 5-minute call that could save you hundreds each year, so whether it's a discount at the store or a tweak to your thermostat, these changes aren't about going without, they're about making smart choices. Choices that let your money go further, while your comfort stays right where it should be. And speaking of smart choices, let's talk about something we all need to do more of: eating well without eating up your budget. Number 3. Meal planning on a budget, let's be honest, food is one of the biggest monthly expenses we all deal with. And when you're living on just Social Security, every grocery run can start to feel like a math test. But here's the good news. With just a little bit of planning, you can eat well, stay healthy, and still keep your wallet happy. Take Sundays, for example. That's when I sit down with a cup of coffee, pull out the weekly grocery flyer, and start planning meals for the week. Nothing fancy, just what's on sale, what's in my pantry. And a few easy recipes I've been making for years. You'd be surprised how much you can save just by cooking with what you already have. One of my favorite tricks. Batch cooking. I'll make a big pot of soup or chili, something hearty that stretches. Last week, I made turkey chili with canned beans and a few veggies from the freezer. It cost me around $10, and I got 6 meals out of it. That's less than $2 a meal. Compare that to takeout or delivery, and you're saving big without giving up taste or nutrition. Coupons are another great tool. I know some folks think they're a hassle, but nowadays, you can find them online or even through your grocery store's app. Some stores will even double them, and if you sign up for loyalty cards, you'll often get personalized deals based on what you already buy. Another trick I've learned is to shop with a full stomach. Sounds silly, right? But if you go shopping hungry, you'll end up tossing all kinds of extras into your cart, snacks you didn't plan for, frozen dinners, desserts. That's where budgets go to die. So eat first, make a list, and stick to it. And don't forget about your freezer. It's your best friend when it comes to saving money. If something's on sale, grab a few extras and freeze them. That way, you're not paying full price next week when you need it. Meal planning isn't about restriction, it's about freedom. The freedom to enjoy dinner without stressing over every penny. And once you get into the rhythm, it starts to feel like a little act of self-care. Now, let's move on to another big area where retirees often feel the pinch: prescriptions and medical bills. Because as we age, staying healthy shouldn't mean going broke. Number 4, smart RX and medical expense management. One of the biggest surprises I faced after retiring wasn't the rent or groceries, it was the cost of staying healthy. Prescription meds, checkups, over-the-counter pills, they add up faster than you'd expect. One month, I looked at my bank statement and thought, wait, did I really spend that much just on medicine? And that's when I knew it was time to get a little smarter about how I handled my healthcare costs. The first thing I learned, and this was a game changer, is that generic medications are almost always just as effective as the brand name ones. I used to pay over $40 for one prescription every month. Then I asked my doctor, is there a generic version? He smiled and said, actually, yes, same active ingredient, and it costs about $10. That little question saved me $360 a year. So if you haven't asked your doctor or pharmacist about generics yet, give it a shot. It's one of the simplest ways to save money without compromising your health. Another trick that helped me was switching to a mail-order pharmacy. A lot of Medicare Part D plans and even private insurers offer this service instead of going to the pharmacy every month. You get a 90-day supply mailed right to your door, and often it's cheaper, plus you're less likely to miss a dose if you're stocked up. And don't forget about extra help and state pharmaceutical assistance programs. If your income is limited, these programs might cover a big chunk of your medication costs. You can call your local Social Security office or visit Medicare.gov to see if you qualify. One of my neighbors signed up and cut her out-of-pocket costs by more than half. Here's something else. Always check your Medicare Part D plan every fall during open enrollment. I used to just let mine auto-renew, but when I finally compared plans, I realized another provider covered all my meds for way less. Now, every October, I sit down with a cup of tea and make sure I'm still getting the best deal. Healthcare will always be a part of our budget, but it doesn't have to overwhelm it. With a few smart questions and a bit of planning, we can take care of our health without draining our wallets. Number 5, free or low-cost activities for social and mental health. I used to think saving money meant staying home alone with the TV turned up loud, but I've learned that a full life doesn't have to mean a full price tag, especially when it comes to staying connected and keeping our minds sharp. In fact, some of the best things for our well-being cost little to nothing at all. Let me tell you about my friend Larry. He's 74, lives alone, and used to spend most days watching old westerns. Then one day, his daughter told him about a free Tai Chi class at the senior center. He grumbled at first, but after one session, he was hooked. Now he goes every Tuesday and Thursday, says it helps with his balance and gives him something to look forward to, even better. It doesn't cost him a dime. Senior centers, libraries, and local churches are gold mines for free or very low-cost activities. From book clubs to movie nights, painting classes to potlucks, it's all out there if you ask or look around a bit. Some even offer free tech classes, so you can learn to use that new phone or tablet the kids gave you. And don't underestimate the power of something as simple as a walking group. A few of us started meeting at the park twice a week, just a slow stroll and some good conversation. No memberships, no pressure, but it's done wonders for my mood, honestly. I laugh more on those mornings than I do watching sitcoms all week. There's actually real science behind this too. Studies show that older adults who stay socially active have better memory, lower rates of depression, and even fewer doctor visits. One study from the National Institute on Aging found that regular social engagement can cut the risk of cognitive decline by up to 40%. That's not just nice, that's powerful. So here's what I want to say. Don't confuse saving money with cutting joy. You deserve to laugh, move, create, and connect. And you don't need to empty your wallet to do it, whether it's joining a knitting circle, attending a free concert in the park, or just calling an old friend. These moments fill more than your calendar. They fill your spirit, and that kind of richness, you can't buy it anyway. Number 6, supplement income with safe side jobs or selling crafts, There's something empowering about bringing in just a little extra income, especially when it comes from something you enjoy. And the truth is, even if you're living on Social Security alone, there are ways to earn a bit more without overdoing it or putting your benefits at risk. Well, let me tell you about Mrs. Garcia. She's 78, loves to paint, and started decorating old birdhouses just for fun. Her grandson suggested she try selling a few at the local farmer's market. She didn't think anyone would buy them, but within a few weeks, people were coming back asking for more. Now she earns around $100 a month, enough to cover her phone bill and treat herself to a little lunch out once in a while. And best of all, she tracks everything carefully, so it never interferes with her Social Security. That's the kind of side income we're talking about. Simple, safe, and suited to your pace. Think about what you already enjoy. Do you like dogs? A neighbor might need help walking theirs a few times a week. Love books? A local tutor center could use someone to help a child with reading, handy with your hands. You could knit, craft, sew, bake, or even repair small things for neighbors. The key is to keep it light and manageable. And if you're under your full retirement age, be mindful of the annual income limit for Social Security. As of 2025, the earnings limit is about $22,320 per year, roughly $1,860 per month. If you go over, some benefits may be temporarily withheld, but remember, once you hit full retirement age, those limits disappear. And any withheld benefits are paid back later through higher monthly checks. It's also smart to keep a simple notebook or use a calendar to track what you make. That way, you stay on top of things and avoid surprises during tax season. Some folks even open a separate little savings account just for their side gig money. Keeps it clean and clear, so if you've got time, talent, and a touch of curiosity, why not dip your toe into something small? You might be surprised at how fulfilling and helpful a little side income can be, because sometimes just $100 a month can mean the difference between barely getting by and having a little breathing room. So here we are. We've walked through 6 small but mighty ways to make your Social Security stretch a little further. And if you're anything like me, it's a relief to know that being on a fixed income doesn't mean you're stuck. It just means you get to be a little more creative and a little more intentional about how every dollar is used. What I love most about these hacks is that they're not huge changes. They don't require a finance degree or hours of spreadsheets. They're just smart, everyday moves like tracking your spending, making the most of senior discounts, cooking meals in batches, asking your doctor about generics. joining a community group, or even selling a few handmade crafts. When I started using just 3 of these strategies, writing down my expenses, prepping meals on Sundays, and switching to mail order prescriptions, I saved over $200 a month. That's not chump change, that's groceries, a new pair of walking shoes, and maybe even a little day trip with friends. But here's the most important part. Every little step adds up. You don't have to do all 6 at once. Maybe today you set up a spending notebook. Maybe tomorrow you call your pharmacy and ask about generic options. Maybe next week you look into what your senior center offers for free. Start small, start where it feels right, and know this: you're not alone in this journey. Millions of older adults are making these same changes, learning how to navigate retirement with grace, grit, and wisdom. And if this video helped you feel a little more confident, I'd love it if you gave it a like. It lets YouTube know that this kind of honest, helpful content matters. Subscribe to Vibrant Elders for more videos made just for you. And if you have your own budget trick or even just a question, drop it in the comments. We learn best when we learn from each other. You've worked hard for every dollar you've got, and now you deserve to feel in control of how it's used. This isn't just about saving money, it's about keeping your independence, protecting your peace of mind, and living retirement on your terms. So go ahead, take one step, then another. You've got this, and we've got your back.